So my current research is in public policy, and I also do look at regulations, so how governments and their agencies are involved in the regulation of different industries. And I'm looking at how we can, or what are the factors that make industry follow the rules so they don't pollute or they are safe industries, and what are the forces that encourage industry to cheat and break the rules, and what might we do as regulatory agencies or enforcement officers might do to try and keep industry in control. And so the topic area the industry that I look at and research is the trucking industry. So how trucking companies and road transport companies follow the rules, or the challenges they have to break the rules and cheat. Regulation sounds really boring, but it can be really interesting because the topic of regulation sounds very boring. My daughter is 22 years old. She was a university student. She just graduated. When I tell her about my work, she's like, but it's not so much the act of regulation, public policies affects other communities or other industries. So it can be really interesting to research that and hear the stories of different groups, whether it's social groups or in industries and companies, to talk about how the government or the governing process, other powerful organizations influence how they work, their lives, and it can be very fascinating. I find it really, really interesting. So don't be shy to do a study regulation, because you might find some very fascinating things. Okay, so I think if you're interested in doing research around public policy and regulation, some of the issues on the future agenda are about how the traditional view is that the government is the regulator, but more often we rely on private companies and groups of companies who represent the industry to make rules about how to behave, to make standards for products and services. So it's very much self-regulation. So the new agenda is about how do these private participants, as the government comes back and gets smaller and delegates to the market and asks people to self-regulate and look after themselves, how do these systems work, and how do we make sure they protect everybody so they don't become controlling, powerful entities that govern for themselves and don't include everybody else? That's the new agenda.